Welcome to SibSpot. Today we're back to featuring some Reddit malicious compliance stories. The first story today is by Advertising Sad 7443. Don't use your garbage can? Okay. You can see where this is going. A long time ago, back in high school, I was a bit of a smart aleck. One morning, I was walking to school, drinking from a juice box. As I finished, I realized I was walking through a nice residential neighborhood, and there were no public trash bins around. However, it must have been this neighborhood's pickup day, as everyone had wheeled their bins out to the sidewalk in front of their house. I'll just put my juice box in the nearest bin, I thought. But it was not to be. As soon as I opened the nearest lid, I heard a pounding on the main window of the immaculately maintained house in front of me. I looked up, and a very angry, middle-aged man was shouting through the window at me, gesticulating wildly. His flailing and beet-red face read spectacularly clear through the window. It was his garbage bin, not mine, and I had no right to use it. I looked at him, trying not to chuckle. "You don't want me to use your beautiful bin for my own refuse? Pardon me," I pantomimed. And staring at him with a huge grin breaking through a mock penitential visage, I pitched the juice box onto his precious, flawless lawn. As his eyes widened to the size of saucers, I hightailed it out of the neighborhood, laughing all the way. To be completely honest, this kid is kind of a jerk. I know this isn't an am I the bad guy story, but he shouldn't have thrown anything on the guy's lawn. That's not just malicious, that's rude. I've gotten notices occasionally for something not being right with my garbage, and the less people using my garbage can, the better. I can figure out exactly what I did to cause it to be flagged as incorrect. The comments on the post tended to be pretty massively in favor of him being a not-so-nice kid. Story number 2 is by Animal. Want me to tell you what I know about Pabst? Can do. There's a sardonic joke that women wearing memorabilia like band t-shirts are subject to questions like, "Oh, you like Led Zeppelin? Tell me John Paul Jones's birthday." It's obnoxious gatekeeping and very condescending. Which takes us to our scene, Milwaukee, 2013, your typical bar. I went to the bar to order, placing me next to a guy who looked to be in his late 40s. I was a 22-year-old woman wearing a Pabst Blue Ribbon beer t-shirt. He sighed and said, kind of half directed at me, half just into the universe, "Oh, great, another hipster girl wearing a PBR shirt." Me, I like PBR? Him, right. Tell me what you even know about Pabst. Me, I know that in 1844, Jacob Best started a brewery called the Empire Brewery on Chestnut Street, which was taken over by his son Philip Best and renamed the Philip Best Brewing Company, and that Philip's daughter Maria married a steamboat captain, Captain Frederick Pabst, the eventual namesake of the brewery. If you want to hear more, come to Best Place at the Pabst Brewery, the former corporate offices for Pabst. We do a Pabst history tour there. I'm one of the tour guides. He just looked annoyed as I paid for my drink and walked off. It's a modest tale of malicious compliance, simply answering the question asked, but it was so satisfying. What did this guy even have to gain from saying some random rude thing to a girl he's never met? Is that supposed to be a pickup line? Obviously not. He looked annoyed after she talked to him. Today's third story is by Seeing is My Hobby. Stepdad tried to punish me without hearing me out. I did what he asked. Edit, to clarify, I am a woman. Also, my sister and I are both adults now and safely moved out. As long as I could remember, my sister, who was 2 years younger than me, would come up and hit me for no reason and often start fights with me. My parents started telling me that I would just have to hit her back because I'm stronger, so she would stop once she realized I would hurt her worse. Fast forward to me being 16, my sister was 14. We're sitting on the love seat in the living room with my stepdad across from us asleep on the couch at 3 p.m. She hits me because I won't get up and get her a drink. I hit her back. She screams because I don't usually hit her back. My stepdad wakes up and starts yelling at her for being loud and demands to know what happened. She said I hit her. He then turns his anger to me. He yells, "If you want to mess around, you can write 5 pages front and back. I will not bite people. If it's not done before dinner, I'm going to take your phone and books." I made it clear that I hit her, not bit her, but he got even more angry and screamed, "If you think you're so smart, then write 10 pages front and back." He went back to sleep on the couch. I wrote 5 pages front and back. I will not bite people unerotically. I will not bite people unconsensually. I will not bite people without asking first. I will not bite people because they are not food. Along with some other ridiculous things I don't remember. I finished 5 pages before dinner miraculously, and he read over them. He went red in the face. "I thought I told you 10 pages, he raged. "You said 10 pages if I think I'm so smart, which I don't," I innocently replied. "This is not what I told you to write." "Yes, it is. You told me to write, 'I will not bite people.' That's exactly what I did." My mom got home at this point and overheard. Coming in to investigate, she flipped through the pages and laughed. It made him angrier as he answered her questions on the assignment, and she took my side, still chuckling, as we started making dinner. This seems like a typical story where an adult takes the side of the younger kid despite lacking any evidence. It feels like, you're older, you should know better, but her sister is the instigator. Our last story for today is by SignSaving9270. Print out the internet? Yes, ma'am. This is about a decade ago, but still well within the realm of the internet. I was a technical writer for the government and had slowly been transferring our old employee handbook, think government bureaucracy from the 1940s, into a modern and actually useful doc. Think one with our policies and links to useful websites, like Office of Personnel Management, forms for workman's comp, etc. My boss wanted the whole thing printed out on her desk the next morning. This was Monday of the Thanksgiving weekend. I printed out the 200 or so pages and just had the links to the various websites in bold. This took about an hour, and I left it on her desk before going home that night. She calls me in her office on Tuesday afternoon and proceeds to yell at me how stupid I am. Do I think people can just go to a website when it's on paper? No, I need to print everything out. I calmly tell her that these sites are pretty dense and deep and it would be about 10,000 pages. She says she does not care. It needs to be on her desk, darn it, first thing Monday morning. Mind you, this is now Tuesday and we usually had some of Wednesday off. I was not really planning to work Thursday Thanksgiving or Friday, as I had applied for leave and was looking forward to a nice, relaxing long weekend. I don't have family, but I had plans. But okay, I asked for and got the request to have everything pertaining to the employee handbook online in a printed format. I also had real work and real deadlines. A quick bit of context. She was my boss, she did my performance appraisals, and she could make my life miserable and possibly fire me. However, my clients were teams that put together engineering plans, biological assessments, scientific journal articles, reports to Congress, etc., that had real-world deadlines. On some of these, if you missed the publication date, your agency paid $100,000 a day in delay fees. Or you would anger a congressperson, which is never a good idea. And I was really getting sick and tired of my boss's request that took me away from my actual work. So I was printing and printing all the rest of Tuesday afternoon, and then Wednesday. I had to go to the site, print, click on the next link, print, etc. On Wednesday, we got a letter from a Congress critter that was actually important. Had we not gotten that, I might not have done what I did. I got overtime approved pronto to take care of this request. So I did work Thanksgiving. As I was doing that, I kept on printing and printing. I used up every sheet of paper in our 14-story building. I kept on researching the response for the congressional, printing, going to the next floor to carefully get that packet of paper to tuck under the appropriate page, etc. I had paper in about 20 different conference rooms. I could have done the congressional in about 8 hours, but it was not due until Monday, and all of this printing took me a good 24 hours of work. So I put in for 32 hours, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Got it done. This is now 2 stacks of paper, each about 6 feet high. I was way under in my estimate of 10,000 pages, as it was more like about 30,000. Remember, I had at least 5 printers going at once for 4 days, etc. I put this in my boss's office, which was already none too clean and pristine. I got written up with a disciplinary hearing and everything. The charge was malicious compliance. I kept my job only because I did have her request in an email. I just love trying to picture him putting 2 6-foot stacks of paper on her desk. I'm not even 6 feet tall. A 6-foot stack of paper would be so hard to maneuver and heavy. Also really enjoyed the part where he says he used up every sheet of paper in their 14-story building. Poor trees. They didn't deserve this malicious compliance. We've come to the close of another episode. If you enjoyed this, please consider giving me a like or clicking subscribe. It helps my little noob channel grow. Until we meet again, or if we never do, have a beautiful day.